from the Energy Boutique with your energy forecast for May 2023. So May 1st, as we kind of jump into this brand new month, we are going to have Pluto, the great transformer himself, go retrograde. So let's backtrack. Of course, Pluto has spent the majority of the last 15 years in Capricorn energy. We entered into Capricorn energy in 2008, definitely transformed the business or political or government stage, if you will, really dismantling a lot of the capitalistic situations that are against the people instead of restoring the people to its power. The Capricorn energy, because of course it was ruled over by Saturn, was very restrictive, was very tough love life lessons, was very, I'm going to say, authoritarian. And the shift that we made into Aquarian energy back in March definitely lifted a lot of that pressurized weight, especially that we've been feeling since we entered into 2023 and Pluto was at those critical crisis degrees of Capricorn energy. Now, back in March, when I first did the Pluto moving into Aquarius forecast, I had stated, don't get used to it. We're not staying here very long, scratching the surface. We're dipping our toe in the water, so to speak, because, of course, we were planning for Pluto to go retrograde at 0 degree, 22 minutes, which, of course, he is doing May 1st. Now, anytime that a planet is moving into a retrograde, it means that the energy is internalized. So we're not really going to see the bulk of the energy take place outside of us. The change, the transformation will be taking place inside of us. Now, in Aquarian energy, it is a fixed energy. It does push to free us, to liberate us from some of the restrictions and confines that we would have identified in the Capricorn energy. And because Pluto is a generational, transformative type of planet, this is essentially when we see ages change, when we see different topics and themes of society change. And of course, we've seen society take a little bit of a step forward there back in March. And now that Pluto is going to go retrograde, we do have to review, revise where it is that we're at, what it is that we want to do. And of course, the whole point of Pluto being in Aquarius energy for the next 20 years is to return the power back to the people, to make some serious progress where societal norms are concerned, where collectives are concerned, where progress with technology and medicine is concerned. We have all of those things happening on the greater, grander global stage, yet Pluto in our own individual charts will have a major change and transformation wherever Aquarius energy rules in your chart. So, with Pluto kind of going retrograde, we move into the underworld. He is the ruler of the underworld. So we do a lot of shadow work while Pluto is retrograde. And of course, he goes retrograde for 5 months every year. And this will essentially usher us into the eclipse season that we will be having in the fall here in 2023. So with Pluto kind of moving inward, we're going to see a lot of initial confusion, although we're not going to be able to blame it on Pluto because we're in eclipse season and retrograde season with Mercury anyway. So who can really identify who's responsible for what kind of confusion? But there's normally a little bit of confusion. There's a lot of weight. There's a lot of heaviness. There's a lot of existential dread. It does feel like a death. Pluto rules over death in order for a rebirth to happen. So that makes sense. And realistically, our problems seem a little bit bigger than they actually are. Let's just get real about that. There's a magnification of our issues, of our brokenness, of our problems. We have to move inward in order to break ourselves down, in order to build ourselves up. That's basically what this retrograde is going to be. So when we move inward, first of all, this is a time for reflection, a time for research, for reevaluation, for revision, reworking, reorganizing, restructuring our own inner power. How do we do that? We do it through shadow work. What does shadow work mean? Well, it means kind of looking at our self-destructive tendencies, our need for power, for control. We are kind of stripping away the gunk and we're getting real and raw and vulnerable with ourselves in order for us to find a new truth. And we find that truth not outside of ourselves. We find that truth within by examining the pain, by examining the darkness, by recognizing where it is that all of these not so nice experiences have been divinely scripted by our higher selves in order to to push us into our power. That's what Pluto is all about. He takes us on a journey into the darkness in order for us to realize that we've dug ourselves in this hole. We have the power to get ourselves out of this hole, to stop waiting around for somebody to come save us, because we essentially are the only saviors for ourselves. And then we have to start digging ourselves out of this deep, dank asshole that we put ourselves in. And when we reach the top of that deep, dark hole, there is a new level of power and control that we feel because we just accomplished something that we didn't. We just essentially saved ourselves from the deep, dark pit that we've created within ourselves. And Pluto, who rules over Scorpio energy, that of course we're very in the midst of right now because of eclipse season, Pluto is pushing us to tap into our power to alchemize. What does alkaline mean? It means to take something and turn it into something else, to take a state and to transform it into a better version of it. And this is why we turn the darkness into light. This is why we turn the pain into power. But we do so by stripping ourselves down, by getting real and raw and vulnerable with ourselves, and just reassessing what power means to us and where we've given our power away and where we need to take it back and where we need to kind of grow up and realize that our self-sabotaging behaviors are the reason of why we don't see the kind of progress and productivity that we want in our lives. So it's almost like, just when you figure out what makes you happy, just when you figure out what it is that you want to go after, what you want to make happen, what you want to pursue, bam, the fear kicks in. That's that shadow realm of our experiences and emotions, trying to shut us down from making the progress that we want to make. And so we have to examine, where does this fear come from? Why do we feel like we're not capable of it? Why do we continue to do the things that we do in order to jeopardize the positive outcome that we want so freaking badly? So does this feel good? No. Should it feel good? No. Is it going to pay off in the end? Absolutely yes. But also, just a heads up, we will be moving back into that Capricorn energy in June. And so it's almost like the weight that got lifted off of our shoulders in March when we left that Capricorn energy behind and moved into this Aquarian energy will essentially be put back on us to remind us of our hardships, to remind us of the struggle, to remind us of everything collectively that we should have been learning since 2008 in this Capricorn energy. We get that put back on us again so that we can sort through it, because again, we have a new level of awareness and consciousness now that we've been in this Aquarian energy to see the big picture, to see the big vision. We go back into the darkness, we sort things out, we try to bring an ending to it. Then what's going to happen? Well, we're going to see Pluto go direct. In the fall, in October of 2023, we're going to sit at the critical crisis degrees of Capricorn energy again, like we have been sitting in at the beginning of 2023. We're going to move forward, re-enter into Aquarian energy early 2024. And then what's going to happen again? Pluto's going to go retrograde. We're going to creep back into the Capricorn energy for not as long, for not as deep into it. And then we go direct again. And let me just tell you, we set up permanent shop in the Aquarian energy November 2024. And then we don't look back. We're in that Aquarian energy for 20 years. So right now we're doing this cha-cha-cha of, hey, I want to move forward. I want to be better. I want to make some progress, but I didn't successfully complete and bring to a closure a lot of the topics and themes that essentially has given me the motivation, the determination to do better, to be better. So now we go back into the Capricorn energy, reorganize, we restructure, especially Capricorn topics and themes, which do relate to our physical realms, to the power issues, to the authority issues, to our jobs, to our finances, to our income, to our reputation. And then we move forward into the Aquarian energy when Pluto goes direct again. And then we have that weight be lifted off of us again. We're seeing solutions. We're seeing progress. And then what happens? Pluto goes retrograde again. We do this all over in order to break free from the limiting beliefs, from the fear, from the doubts, from the insecurities, from the power issues, from the self-sabotage issues that will come right in our faces while Pluto is retrograde.